Obviously, the Yankee situation is precarious when it comes to pitching. So Clarke Schmidt was supposed to throw a bullpen yesterday. Well, first he was supposed to start in one of the two Yankee games yesterday, and they scratched him because his shoulder had not rebounded from his first outing. So they were going to have him throw a bullpen today, which he did, and it supposedly went very, very well. Now, he said the Yankees are just being very, very careful. It's nothing serious, nothing that they have to investigate or do any images on. He's fine. But that's how precarious it is right now when it comes to Yankee pitching. Because you wonder, I think he's thrown an inning and 2/3 in spring training. How ready is he going to be for his first start, which would be 6 days into the season because of off days? So the Yankees open 10 days from now, a week from this Thursday. Then they have Friday off. Then they play Saturday and Sunday. So they could keep him down in Tampa, but what are they going to build him up to? 50 pitches, 60 pitches? I'm not quite sure. And it always gives me the willies when you hear something, his shoulder's not bouncing back. Well, why? Now, if you look at the history of Clarke Schmidt, and I think Clarke Schmidt is a really good pitcher, the history of Clarke Schmidt is he really has a hard time staying healthy. Last year, the lat injury, he's out 2.5 months. He's had Tommy John surgery. He has a hard time giving you 30 starts. In fact, he's never even come close. So now you have a shoulder that's barking, and you do get a little concerned because right now, if you take Clarke Schmidt out of the equation, you got Rodon starting opening day, then Fried on Saturday. Then it's going to be Stroman in game 3. So Stroman went from almost assuredly being traded to being the 6th starter. He's the middle of the rotation guy. Middle of the rotation guy. So let's say he's 3. Luis Gil is down for about 3 months. Cole is out for the year. So now who's 4 and 5? I've been saying this for a while. Carlos Carrasco has an opt-out on March 22nd. He's making the team. Yankees don't want to lose him. They like what they've seen in spring training. He's making the team. Why would you just lose the pitcher when you're short on pitching? So Carrasco's going to make the team, and then Will Warren's going to make the team. Okay. That's not really a scary staff. And then you start to worry if somebody else went down. You saw the kid yesterday, Cam Schlitter. He pitched. It might be him. JT Brubaker has broken ribs. He's not going to be back for a while. Hess is too young. And it doesn't seem as if they're close to making a deal. Just, it's a precarious time. Now, I'll say what I said last week. Nobody had more injuries to their pitching and their starting pitching last year than the Dodgers. No one. They found a way. Yankees have to find a way. That's all there is to it. Find a way. Now, that's easier said than done because you always talk about next man up. Well, next man up is Stroman, and he's your number 3 starter. Then Carrasco signed to a minor league deal. Then Will Warren. In his 5 starts in the big leagues last year, he got absolutely crushed. So your 3, 4, and 5 starters, if Schmidt's out, are next man up. Scary, right? Now, there's a story out that I found really, really interesting about Trevor Bauer. So Trevor Bauer has made all these different excuses about why major league teams aren't signing him. And the latest one was no one wants to sign him because he supports Donald Trump. And my eyes rolled into the back of my head when I heard that. Because if teams didn't want players who supported Donald Trump, wait for it, everybody, they'd have a hard time fielding a starting nine. The vast majority of athletes in Major League Baseball are conservative and very much in the corner of the President of the United States. So, I mean, Bauer is he's grasping at straws. There's got to be stuff there that no one wants to touch. Now, with the Yankees, there's even more than what's out there. He doesn't get along with Garrett Cole. They were teammates at UCLA. They did not like each other. And then the word is, and I don't know, I've never covered a team in which he was a teammate, that he's an awful teammate. So we get these phone calls. Got a lot of them last week. Well, the Yankees are in trouble with their pitching. Why don't they examine Trevor Bauer? It's not happening. Bob Clappish on NJ.com investigated it, and he had people off the record saying there's no way we would ever sign him. There's no way we would go there. But, I mean, you got to laugh when he says, yeah, it's because I support Donald Trump. Ridiculous. Again, they'd have a hard time fielding a 26-man roster in baseball. A hard time. I'm looking forward to the season, everybody. Yankees start on Thursday. Mets start on Thursday. Baseball, that count, starts tomorrow morning. Dodgers against the Cubs in Tokyo. So that's going to be fun with Yamamoto on the mound against Imanaga. Awesome. Awesome for the country of Japan. They played exhibitions there over the weekend. Places was jammed. So it's going to be good for baseball. Now, I would like baseball to actually begin its season in North America, but I understand that you're trying to expand the brand, and what you're doing is expanding the brand to Japan. Major League Baseball is huge in Japan. Huge. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to the phones, shall we? Let's go to David in Astoria. David.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for making it.
My pleasure. I have a question about Giancarlo Stanton. If he, depending on his injury, if it's a short-term injury, I have two players that I'd like. Short-term, I wonder if you think there's any interest perhaps in Miguel Andujar. He had a good end of the season with Oakland last year, had a great winter ball season, has hit well now. I know the Yankees are looking for a right-handed hitter who obviously he's not great in left field, but he could, play out there occasionally. I feel like he would be good if Stanton's injury is short-term. If it's long-term, I would look into Lewis. I want no part of Arise as a second baseman or a first baseman, but as a DH and leading off and then occasionally playing second or first. If Stanton's going to be out for the year, I think Arise might be a really nice, to go back into look into that.
Well, I have not heard anything about Andujar, so I don't know if they'd be interested in him. And the other one, David, I mean, they've had a chance all off season, and also they had a chance leading up to today to get Arise, because San Diego would like to move his $14 million salary. I don't think they'll go that route, because they could have gotten Arise and then they would have solved the third base problem. Jazz Chisholm would have played third and Arise would have played second. He's not a good second baseman, but as a second baseman, he's a heck of a hitter. I think long term, if they think Stanton is going to be out long term, the move would be J.D. Martinez. But right now, the Yankees can't sign J.D. Martinez because you don't know if Stanton's going to come back, because then you have two redundant players on your roster. And second of all, they don't have room to sign him into a major league contract. So that being said, I don't think that J.D. Martinez is going to be the guy. Now, at some point, I would say it's all clerical, but you're going to see Stanton put on the 60-day IL. And when he's put on the 60-day IL, that clears a spot on the 40. Same thing with Cole. Same thing with Heel. So you have a lot of spots open on the 40. Then if you want to sign somebody to a major league contract, you can. Let's go to Matt in Chappaqua. Matt.
Hey, Michael. Thanks for taking my call. I want to get your opinion. I want to get your opinion on something.
Okay.
So, a quality start is defined as 6 or more innings, giving up 3 or less runs, right?
Yes.
So if you go 6 innings and give up 3 runs exactly, that pitcher is technically pitching to a 4.5 ERA, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Would you consider a pitcher who has a 4.5 ERA a good pitcher?
Well,
probably not, right?
I mean, I wouldn't go crazy over him, I'll tell you that. But I know what you're saying. I've always felt it was a dumb metric. Yeah, quality
now,
start.
Wouldn't you rather have a guy who goes 8 innings or even 9 innings who actually gives up those 4 or 5 runs? Wouldn't you rather have someone who gives up 5 runs over 9 innings than someone who goes 5 or 6 and gives you the 3 innings like a Rodon? Like, why don't they let these guys pitch and give up the 4 or 5 runs? It's really not a big deal.
Well, Matt, the reason they don't do that is all about metrics. They don't believe that pitchers are capable of getting a guy out third time they face him, because there's a diminishing level of stuff when you're in and facing a guy for the third time. And if you look at the averages of hitters against a pitcher for the third time through, it jumps up from maybe 230 to 320. Now, there are outliers. Obviously, if you got a guy like Garrett Cole, his stuff holds before he got hurt. So, yeah, it's a dumb stat. I don't think you reward somebody for pitching to a 4.50 ERA, but I think the genie's out of the bottle. I don't think you can put the genie back in. This is what they believe. This is how they train their pitchers. So you're saying that if somebody gives you 6 innings and gives up 3 runs, that's 4.50. But it's really not. It's 4.50 for him. Now, most teams have built really stout bullpens. So if you have a great bullpen, your bullpen then is going to come in and give you 3 scoreless innings. So that means your ERA for the game is 3. So you're saying leave a pitcher in for 8 innings to give up the 4 or 5 runs. That's not the same thing as a starter going 6 innings and giving up 3 runs. Not even close. Because bullpens are great. They come in throwing 97, 98, 99, 100 miles an hour. They're going to shut you down. That's all there is to it. They're going to shut you down.